Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So if you guys can hear me okay, the audio is good, the picture is good, give me a thumbs up. If you guys cannot hear me, then give me a thumbs down, all right? So shout out to Kid Gravity. What up with it, bro? Good to see you. Sambo Coon Conservatives is in the house. Kasim Baker, what's good with it, bro? Emmanuel Carey is in the building. My man Jay Bird is up in here. And John Guillory is in the house. Shout out to all y'all, all right? So you guys already know the deal. If you guys haven't hit that bell, if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. If you guys haven't hit that like, take a moment. Make sure you guys do that, all right? So what we're going to be talking about today are some more issues that are going on with the quote-unquote undocumented bros. And for those who do not know who the undocumented bros are, take a wild guess. But while you're guessing, we are going to get into it, all right? Because when it comes to the undocumented bros, we're going to ask some questions. The first question that I want to know is how many Ukrainian immigrants are being sent to New York City and to Chicago? Shout out to Embrace Villainy. What's good with it, bro? That's my question. Anybody got an answer for that? I don't. That's why I'm asking you guys. We got Fantizia in the building. What's good with it, bro? So we're going to check this stuff out. All right. There's some interesting turn of events. All right. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys show some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for my man Jay Bird. Dropping heat first thing in the morning. You guys already know. And I'm going to try to do another stream before the end of the day, but I got more videos to put up. All right. So make sure you guys have those notification bells hit. And also, if you're not getting notifications, you guys know where to go. The Discord is pretty reliable. Hit that link that is in the chat. All right. And you will get your notifications. My man Kid Gravity says a few thousand. So show some love to my man Jay Bird. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for him. Few thousand. I'm not sure. If you say a few thousand, Kid Gravity, I believe you. You know what I'm saying? We're going to look at some things that are going on, though, and then we're going to ask a couple questions. But right now, we're taking it to New York City. Shout out to New York City. Mayor Eric Adams got some problems going on there, son. You know what I'm saying? Where the mother be? NYC considers over 3,000 sites to house migrants as crisis mounts, all right? Over 95,000 migrants have arrived in New York City, about 57,000 housed in city shelters. Officials are getting creative with placement as migrants continue to arrive. Advocates accuse leaders of using migrants as props for federal money, all right? So now, here's my question. Are they being used as props to get federal money? That's what they're accusing Eric Adams of. So let's check this out.
Officials there say they are overwhelmed with migrants and asylum seekers to the point where hundreds of people are sleeping on the streets outside of processing centers.
Hundreds of people are sleeping on the streets, but my man John Guillory gonna make sure I sleep in my apartment with the $5 super chat. Make sure y'all show some love. We got the second stream sponsor, my man John Guillory. He says, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
This morning, New York's mayor said any location in the city can now serve as a possible temporary housing site, including some of New York's most famous places. Our Dre Clark live in New York for us with the latest on this one. Hey, Dre, good morning.
Oh, Brooke, good morning. Migrants sitting, standing, or sleeping on the sidewalk. City officials say this is as good as it gets for all newly arriving migrants until space becomes available at one of the city's many emergency housing centers. Meanwhile, officials say everything remains on the table when it comes to trying to find more space for migrants, and that includes one of the city's biggest tourist locations.
Central Park is one of New York City's crown jewels and tourist attractions.
They talking about putting the migrants in Central Park, y'all. Central Park, it gets better.
And as the city struggles to find places to house migrants, the famous park may be next on the list for a sprawling tent city.
People on the one hand cannot accuse us of not having enough space, of telling us not to go to certain places, and then on the other hand tell us, well, you can't go here and you can't go there.
The Roosevelt Hotel on Manhattan's East Side serves as both an intake center and emergency shelter for migrant families with children. Outside the hotel, dozens of migrants, mostly.
Hey, look at that. Now, here's my question. Where'd they get all them African migrants? Let's take a pause for a second. Nigga, where did all of these come from? You know what I'm saying? Where did they come from? Where did they get all these African cats? And I don't know if you guys been paying attention lately, but if you look at the New York Post, if you look at all of the mainstream media, they've been having the African migrants as the cover for all of the migrants that are coming in. Shout out to Miss Jazzy. What's good with it? So I'm just curious about that. Anybody got any ideas? Where these Africans come from? You know what I'm saying? Besides from Africa. I know somebody. There's always a genius that's got the answer. Oh, they came from Africa. Yeah, we know. You know what I'm saying? But we're talking about incapacity of these migrants here. Where did they come from? And why are they being used as the poster children for the migrant crisis? That's my question for you guys. Let me know what you guys think.
Men from South American and African countries have been sleeping on cardboard or
South American and African countries. Embrace Villainy says because white people are naturally racist. I can believe that. I can agree with that. If you guys agree with Embrace Villainy, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Embrace Villainy, give me a thumbs down. And my question is, if you disagree with Embrace Villainy, prove him wrong. Because if you look at the way that Europeans spread across the world, it was never in a peaceful and honest way. And this is across many European countries that didn't have contact with each other. So how did they do the same thing without contact? It's kind of like somebody in the United States deciding to breathe and drink water and somebody in Russia breathing and drinking water. Well, we do it because that's one of our human instincts. So you have to wonder, are these European instincts? Valid question. Very valid question. You know what I'm saying? Very valid question.
Concrete for nearly a week, all desperate for placement inside a shelter.
I'm saying that we are managing this the best that we can. I'm saying that there's not a lot of good options on the table and that we will continue to look at all the options that we have.
Now, I just want to make sure that I reiterate, Ice Cube said that we concentrate too much on race. just want to make sure that we put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Quote unquote, our good brother Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying? He says that we concentrate too much on race. Just saying. That's what he told Tucker Carlson.
It's estimated more than 95,000 migrants have arrived in New York City since last spring. 56,000 migrants are receiving city services at close to 200 emergency shelters.
Now, let me ask you guys a question about these city services. How much money do you all think that these city services that the migrants are being allocated, how much is that costing taxpayers? That's my question for you guys. You guys got an estimate? You guys got a number? How much exactly is this costing taxpayers? That's the question. Let me know what you guys think.
Every week I come here and I talk about systems at its breaking point.
City leaders continue asking the Biden administration for money to supplement the billion-dollar costs of providing shelter and support services.
We need some support. I see the little kids in the Roosevelt, and I wonder why does no one care? I don't understand why nobody cares.
Immigrant advocates instead saying it's the Adams administration that doesn't care.
Oh, it's the Adams administration that doesn't care. Now, listen, Mayor Eric Adams is not my favorite person, but are they really going to sit here and lie on him and say that he doesn't care about the migrants? The mayor who is actually sleeping in the shelters with the migrants, the guy who has been pro-immigration since his time in office, are they really going to do that? And none of his homies going to come to bat for him? Damn, homie. When you was on the police department, you was the man, homie. The happened to you. Oh man, they got the sickest vendetta because he asked for some cheddar. Oh man. Man, he should have popped something.
The Adams administration has kept the city in an emergency response mentality. His administration has doubled down and tripled down on strategies that aren't working. He's no longer welcoming of asylum seekers and now is scapegoating them for his choices.
Okay, so I want you guys to pay very close attention. There's the coalition right there. How many people has Mayor Eric Adams helped into New York and get settled? The moment the resources are exhausted, it's just Mayor Eric Adams is xenophobic. We have to have this difficult conversation about xenophobia in the Black community. Sounds about right? Soon as you can't do somebody's bidding, all of a sudden you're anti them. How'd that work? Man, he thought he was a mayor, but he ain't never passed nothing. He go to the government and they ain't give him nothing. Oh, man. Them migrants getting off that boat and they the size of Lil Bow Wow. Oh, man.
And without that federal help that Mayor Eric Adams keeps asking for, city officials fear the city may actually go bankrupt because of providing services and shelter to the thousands of migrants.
Now, they're saying that the city could possibly go bankrupt. Yeah, shout out to 50. Unit. That's E-Unit right there. Eric Adams. E-Unit. Oh, man. Yo, they talk about the city might go broke. New York City, thriving metropolis, Gotham City might go broke. And the only thing that, now, I'll tell you what, you know what they're going to say? If New York City goes broke, they're going to say that Mayor Eric Adams mismanaged the migrant crisis, right? And they're going to say that he mismanaged the city's fiscal resources. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man Greets. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to old grandma and Lloyd Sky Nines. What's good with y'all? What do y'all think? That's what they're going to hit him with. And they're going to say that he's xenophobic. Where's anybody coming to have his back? All them hip-hop artists, where y'all at? The other migrants, where they at? Where they at? Where they at? For days, newly arrived asylum seekers have waited outside New York City's Roosevelt Hotel. And for weeks, Mayor Eric Adams has said that the city is out of room and sought to dissuade more immigrants from arriving. All right. So now let me ask you guys a question. Is Mayor Eric Adams full of crap, or is there actually enough room in New York City? If you ask me, more than likely, there's not enough room. There's only so many square miles, so much square footage that you can use, right? I don't think that he's lying about that. Yet, with more than 56,000 migrants in New York City's care, in close to 200 emergency shelters, Manhattan's Central Park could be next on the list for a sprawling tent city. Let me ask you guys a question. Can you imagine how the crime will increase if they put this tent city thing in Central Park? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Now, I think that the rest of this article here is just a transcript of this video that we just watched. So I'm not going to finish this. We're going to take a look at this article from Patch right here. All right. Because actually, the faster that I get done, you know what I'm saying, the sooner I can get to the next stuff that I want to do. All right. Shout out to Shamika Gray. What's good with it? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. All right. So New York City is using migrants as a prop in bid for Fed cash. Do you guys believe that to be true? I don't believe this to be true. I believe that New York City probably, they may not need all the money that they're asking for, or they could possibly need more money than what they're asking for. But I don't believe that they're using the migrant issue for a prop. And the reason why I don't believe that they're using the migrant issue for a prop is because if you look at all of the other places that are facing a migrant crisis, I haven't seen the media do a line-by-line comparison about how much the cost is for Chicago, how much the cost is for New York, and how much the cost is for other places. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to DSB for being a member for 6 months. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat and show him some love. And also, if you enjoy the content on Blacklight Revelations, consider becoming a member. All you got to do is just hit one of those links that the bots put in the chat. The lowest is 99 cents. Every little bit helps. All right. So now critics are accusing city officials of exploiting the lines outside of the Roosevelt as part of a campaign to pressure state and federal officials. I mean, okay, so here's my thing, right? If they show some pictures from outside of the Roosevelt and outside of the Roosevelt is crowded as a result of so many migrants there, I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. They're trying to convince these people to give them money so that they can make the situation more comfortable and more doable, right? So my question would be, why would they not use that if that's available? Why are they trying to guilt them? You're showing pictures of these people to make people feel guilty. Yeah, the reason why they're showing pictures of them is to either deter them from sending the people there or to get the amount of money that's necessary to be able to deal with the crisis appropriately. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. All right. So now again, we got the Africans. Look at all the Africans right there. I just want y'all to pay attention. Look at all them Africans. They acting like the only migrants in New York are African. Look at that. Where'd they find all those African migrants to show for the photo op? So now here it says, for days now, newly arrived international immigrants have waited night and day outside New York City's Roosevelt Hotel, sleeping shoulder to shoulder on the sidewalks in hope of a bed in the city's shelter system. All right. Now, here's my question. How do you all feel about migrants being housed in the shelter system? Do you think that that's an appropriate use of the shelter system? Or do you think that something else should be done? That's my question. And for weeks, Mayor Eric Adams has said the city is out of room and sought to dissuade more migrants from arriving. The scene outside the former hotel, now a migrant shelter and intake center, has underscored the extreme overcrowding in a homeless housing system filled to record levels. City officials and activists alike call it heartbreaking. Okay. So now the interesting thing that I see here is that the activists are calling the situation heartbreaking, but it's also the activists saying that there's no real problem. And I got to agree with Kid Gravity. Kid Gravity says they need to go home. There's plenty of room at their home. And I don't disagree. If you guys agree with Kid Gravity, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Kid Gravity, then give me a thumbs down. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 32 live viewers watching. If everybody can take a moment and hit that bell, also hit that like button and get us over 30 likes, that'd be great. So now here it says, but some critics accuse New York City officials of exploiting the lines outside the Roosevelt as part of a campaign to pressure state and federal officials to come up with more money to tackle the crisis and discourage more migrants from entering the U.S. from Mexico. Now, here's my question. let's just say that they are doing that. Let's just say that they are doing that. Let's just go out on a limb and say, okay, they're doing that. Here's my question for you guys. What's wrong with that if they are doing that? And that is some of them. Yeah, I agree. Embrace villainy. Some of them, this was their home. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. And a lot of them, the governments in their country has been destabilized by us as well. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? However, if you ask me, that's one of the reasons why people need to have a stronger influence on politicians to make better anti-war policies, anti-coup policies. Shout out to my man Solo T. What's good with it, bro? Because we make a lot of messes around the world, and then we don't want to clean up the messes. Racism is one of the messes that the United States made around the world, and now they just don't want to clean it up. Let me ask you guys a question, and I posted this question on Twitter. How many people have ever heard white Republicans say it was Democrats who owned slaves? It was Democrats who were the pro-slavery party. It was Democrats. How many people have heard white conservatives say that? If you guys have heard white conservatives say that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't heard them say that, then give me a thumbs down. It's not too hard to find if you haven't. But if you haven't, give me a thumbs down. Now, the reason why I asked that, right, is because if slavery is a Democrat thing, well, then why didn't Ron DeSantis change the curriculum in Florida to specifically state what white Democrats propagated and owned slaves and were instrumental in the institution of American chattel slavery? I mean, that's liberal Democrat leftist stuff, right? According to white conservatives. So now, if that's the case, then we have to ask the question, why is Ron DeSantis making a bipartisan move to erase and maneuver the history to have people thinking that slavery was some kind of vocational school? I mean, you know, according to white people, it was the Democrats that did it. You guys remember when Hotep Jesus called into my stream? If you guys remember when Hotep Jesus called into my stream, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. You remember when we started talking about this and Hotep Jesus said, well, sometimes I present to conservatives that Democrats should pay reparations? You guys remember when he said that? Okay. Democrats pay reparations. Conservatives are all about nobody paying reparations. And if what Ron DeSantis is doing in Florida isn't evidence of it, then I don't know what else is. And shout out to my man Black Bitcoin Key. What's good with it, bro? So now here it says Mayor Eric Adams should not be using asylum keepers as props to get the attention of the Biden administration or discourage asylum seekers from coming to New York, said Murad Awadeh, the executive director of the New York Immigration Coalition. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How much does anybody know about the New York Immigration Coalition? And here's a better question. Why is there a New York Immigration Coalition? Does the New York Immigration Coalition encourage and advocate for immigrants to come to the United States using legal processes? Is the New York Immigration Coalition providing funding to ease the cost of immigration to the United States? These are people that are trying to determine and dictate how our tax dollars should be spent. And they're directing these tax dollars to be spent on people that don't even have a social security number. So now here it says he added the city should work harder to free up space in the shelters and keep migrants off the streets. Now, what I find interesting is that this guy from New York Immigration Coalition is worried about the city freeing up space and keeping migrants off the street. While who's doing that for homeless people? Because last time I checked, New York and California both have an out of control homeless crisis. They both have an out of control homeless crisis. So if both of these states have an out of control homeless crisis, on top of wanting them to make flash decisions and flash adjustments involving immigrants and immigration, how is that supposed to work? That's the question. How is that supposed to work? So now here, this is what the Immigration Coalition says. It's hard to imagine that there are not enough beds to actually accommodate the people that the Adams administration is leaving out on the street, he told the Associated Press in a statement. So what I want you guys to understand is that immigrant guy, Murad Awadeh, he is blaming the issues in New York City directly on Mayor Eric Adams. Now, here's my question. What do you think? Where do you think he learned that from? Where do you think he learned that little tactic from? He knows that Mayor Eric Adams isn't in control of the federal budget. He knows that Mayor Eric Adams can't sign his own check. He knows that Mayor Eric Adams can't magically make more room. Let me ask you guys a question. How long has Mayor Eric Adams been asking the Biden administration for more money to help with the migrant crisis? How long has that been going on? Anybody got a time frame on that? What people seem to not realize is that Mayor Eric Adams got set up and fell for the same trick bag that Kamala Harris did. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree that Mayor Eric Adams fell for and got set up by the same trick bag that Kamala Harris did, then give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you think something different happened, then let me know. All right. It's hard to imagine that there is not enough beds to actually accommodate the people that the Adams administration is leaving out on the street, he told Associated Press in a statement. At a briefing Thursday, one of the mayor's deputies pushed back. I don't think I or any person in this administration would use people to do any type of stunt, said Deputy Mayor Ann Williamson, ISOM. She said the city has conducted itself with humanity and with compassion, adding the shelter system is at breaking point. Now, how do you all feel about that statement there? Yeah, facts. Black Knight discussions. I guess that Biden of New York statement didn't age well for Mayor Eric Adams. Facts. And I got to agree with Embrace Villainy. That's because they're stupidly trusting. Shout out to Jesse. What's good with it, bro? I got to agree. It's because they're stupidly trusting. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 43 people watching. Shout out to all 43 people that's watching. And we got 31 likes. If we could get the likes over 50, that'd be great. All right. So now here says city officials say that the number of migrants arriving in New York since the spring of 2022 is approaching 100,000, overwhelming a shelter system designed to hold tens of thousands fewer people. And now the city of New York is already crowded. So check this out, right? Let's just examine the levels of crowding. New York City is already crowded. The homeless shelters are already crowded, right? So you have the city that's crowded. Then on top of it, the homeless is crowded, right? The homeless shelters are crowded. Then you have this influx of all these migrants coming in. So now it's not very difficult to believe that everything is overcrowded. But these immigrant organizations are putting the pressure on Mayor Eric Adams. I guarantee you Mayor Eric Adams thought that all of these people would have his back. Yeah, they have his back. They jumping on his back. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Christopher Perkins. Christopher says, where's the compassion for Black homeless veterans? Exactly. You know where it's at. The same place our reparations are. You know where it's at, Christopher. The compassion for black homeless veterans, the compassion for black homeless anybody is the same place where our reparations are. Would you guys agree? It's evidenced every day. So the number of migrants arriving in New York since the spring of 2022 is approaching 100,000, okay? The shelter system is designed to hold tens of thousands fewer people, and it already is full of homeless people. It's already full with homeless people in there. So now, where is everybody supposed to go? And now, here's another question that I have for everybody. If we look at the expenses and we look at the amounts of money being requested by the local governments, do you all think that there would be similar amounts being requested from New York as you'll see in Chicago? That's my question for you guys. What do you guys think? New York City has a unique court-ordered obligation to provide emergency shelter to anyone who asks for it. Did you guys know that? Now, how does that work? Oh, now we got some problems. We'll be going into that eventually. We'll be going into that. How many people were aware of that? New York City has a unique court-ordered obligation to provide emergency shelter to anyone who asks for it. But officials have said in recent weeks that the influx of migrants seeking asylum in U.S. has made it increasingly difficult to fulfill that duty. Oh, I bet it has. Oh, I bet it has. How's that supposed to work? They have based on the laws in the state, they have a court-ordered obligation to provide emergency shelter to anyone that asks for it. That's got to be difficult. How do you manage something like that? How do you do that? But officials have said in recent weeks that the influx of migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. had made it increasingly difficult to fulfill that duty. While the number of migrants crossing the border has fallen in recent months, busloads still arrive every day. So every person that comes to New York on these buses, New York is court-ordered to provide them shelter. Shout out to Kelly. Shout out to U-Law. And I agree with Christopher. These are depopulation tactics. At the least, they're dilution tactics. Okay? How many people were aware of that? I really want to know this, because as you guys watch other content, this is important to take into consideration. New York City, all right? I don't know about what's going on in Chicago, but New York City has a unique court-ordered obligation to provide emergency shelter to anyone who asks for it. So now, here's my question. If we're looking to vote for politicians, should getting rid of this little clause right here be an issue? Because if this clause was gotten rid of, there would be no lawful obligation to house migrants. So now, who in New York City is running on a platform to get rid of court-ordered shelter obligation? Is that a fair question to ask? Yeah. I'm not mad at you, Kelly. It doesn't sound like a very wise clause to have in there. If you guys think that this is something that should go, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that is something that should go, then give me a thumbs down. Embrace Villainy says they're going to replace the black people. I'm starting to think that they're going to enact emergency powers to remove blacks from these cities, possibly send us to South America. You know, in the United States, they can do any damn thing because they're crazy, and they will, and they got the power. So if people do think that, people need to be making sure that they're prepared to be able to defend themselves appropriately, right? This is not a very wise thing to have, this thing right here. This is bad, if you ask me. This is just bad. There's no constraints on it. There's no limit on it. I mean, what happens if there's a crisis where other people need shelter? Like, what if the residents of New York City need a shelter because a hurricane took place? Because, you know, New York is a coastal state, and New York can get hit by tropical storms. What if FEMA needs to use those? And they still busting all those migrants up there, then what? How's that work? Shout out to my man Lehman Lucas. What's good with it, bro? These are questions that people should be asking. Ask these questions. Make these questions a concern. You know what I'm saying? But this is definitely not a good thing. New York City has a unique court-ordered obligation to provide emergency shelter to anyone who asks for it. Now, shout out to my man Kid Gravity. Kid Gravity, you still in here? Being that you are somebody that's from New York, you should actually, that would be great if you actually did a video that explained this court-ordered obligation and showed the kind of problems that this is facilitating with in combination with the migrant crisis. You know what I'm saying? New York City has I'm going to continue to read this. New York City has a unique court-ordered obligation to provide emergency shelter to anyone who asks for it. But officials have said in recent weeks that the influx of migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. has made it increasingly difficult to fulfill that duty. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Would the court system in New York City allow that to get shot down? Those liberal judges in New York City, they're not going to let that get shot down. They're going to keep that going. City officials said that some 2,300 more migrants came to the city seeking shelter last week alone. Adams last month dispatched missionaries to the border to hand out flyers informing migrants that shelter spaces in his city is no longer guaranteed and that housing and food in New York City is expensive. It urged them to consider other U.S. cities. How come it didn't urge them to go back home? Why didn't it urge them to go to places in the countries that they came from? Now, what I find interesting, right? This is all it's going to take. All it's going to take. New York City has a court-ordered obligation to take care of anyone who doesn't have shelter, right? Imagine what happens when these undocumented bros find out that that is a court order and they start suing the city of New York for not having shelter for them. What kind of rabbit hole is that going to open up? What kind of rabbit hole will that open up? Because that definitely is a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 50 people watching and we got 40 likes. If everybody can smash that like button and get us over 60, that'd be great. So now here it says outside the Roosevelt Hotel, recently, migrant Miguel Jaramillo talked about sleeping in the street while waiting for a bed. He was saying that he was willing to endure the process. We came here for a future, he said. We came here for a future is what he said. What do you guys think about that? What's that future looking like? On another day, security guards ordered migrants not to speak to journalists. During one interview, a migrant was told by a guard to stop speaking, first putting his finger on his pursed lips, then dragging it across his throat like a knife. The migrant, who had been speaking about his arduous passage to the U.S. and his hopes for a better life, immediately stopped talking. That's pretty plainly a threat, said Joshua Goldfein, an attorney for the Legal Aid Society in New York. I wonder what ethnicity Mr. Goldfein is. Yeah, and I got to agree, Christopher. Go home and build your future there. Now, and here's my thing, right? Use the legal process, right? Use the damn legal process. Don't just flood the zone. But see, like what they're doing is they're flooding the zone. You know what I mean? There's no question that the city could provide additional spaces for the folks who are on the sidewalk, he said, though he added state and federal governments should do more too. Adams, a Democrat, has insisted that the city is doing everything it can, including leasing entire hotels for migrants and opening multiple new shelters. And, you know, I don't know whether Adams is doing as much as he can or not, but it does seem like he's doing a lot. He's doing a lot more for them than he's doing for FBA, Freeman, and ADOS in New York City. He didn't get any luxury boats and lease them out for black homeless people. He didn't do any of that. But they feel that, you know, they should get top tier conditions. In a frantic search for more housing, city officials are considering building a tent city on an island in the East River, even though it closed a similar facility nearly a year ago, just weeks after it opened. So now I wonder why that happened. Why did they? Now, here's the thing. They're closing facilities down, sitting there talking about they don't have enough room. Well, why are you closing facilities down then if you don't have enough room? And see, the thing is that these questions that we're asking here, they're not asking these questions. They're not asking these questions. And somebody needs to ask these questions because these are the questions that people need to get answers to. Now, shout out to my people that are in New York City, right? Shout out to my people that are in New York City. To all my people that are in New York City, are you going to vote for politicians that are pro policies like this come election time? Local politics, right? And soon a new shelter will be open in the parking lot of a psychiatric hospital in Queens. Now, we talked about this shelter that's opening up at the psych hospital in Queens. We talked about that on the other channel. You guys remember that? We talked about that hospital there on the other channel. Providing about 1,000 beds for single men who comprise of the majority of arriving immigrants. I thought they were coming with their families. Bunch of single men. Undocumented bros. See, you guys always think that I'm just joking. Shout out to my man TD Hip Hop Media. That's why TD Hip Hop Media be telling you. That's why I always say, not trying to be funny, but not trying to be funny, but give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Real quick. Make sure you guys smash that like button, hit that bell. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Did I lose everybody? Did I lose everybody? I had my alarm set. and I always forget to turn it off before I start streaming. I don't want it just going off in the damn background. You know what I'm saying? Start turning my phone off. What do you guys think? Should I start turning my phone off when I stream or no? So now here it says, Adams' tough rhetoric, though, has implied more migrants would find themselves sleeping outdoors. It's not going to get any better. Now, Adams' tough rhetoric? Let me ask you guys a question. Would you guys say that Mayor Eric Adams has been tough on these immigrants? Shout out to my man AB Promotions. What's good with it, bro? Would you guys say that Eric Adams has been tough on these immigrants? I wouldn't say that at all. Where's he been tough at? He hasn't been tough at all. It's not going to get any better. From this moment on, it's downhill. There is no more room, he said Monday, while quickly vowing that he wouldn't let sidewalk encampments become a citywide problem. I can assure you that this city is not going to look like other cities where there's tents up and down every street. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it was kind of like that already before the migrant crisis started. Shout out to my man RG Titan. What's good with it, bro? Yeah, and I got to agree with Kelly. He rolled out the red carpet. And look, I just want everybody to pay attention. Look at how he's being turned on. When are these politicians going to get it? When are they going to get it, you guys? Look how he's getting turned on. Look how they turning on him. Yeah, I got to agree, Black. If you guys agree with Black Knight discussions, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. Adams is only tough on the Black community in NYC by ignoring their interests, facts, and telling us to stop listening to drill music. I listen to drill music, and that stuff that Adams be talking about, that's that shit I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Them Adams policies, that's that shit I don't like. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to all that drill music because when it comes to Adams, I don't like. You know what I mean? Shit. Goldfein and others accused the mayor and city of shifting their tone from we're going to treat people with dignity and respect to we're going to treat people very badly to send a message. Where did they say they were going to treat anybody badly? Shout out to my man DJ Elmo. Where did they say that they were going to treat anybody badly? Saying that we don't have room is saying that you're going to treat somebody badly? Really? I guess that's kind of like saying hashtag fake friends and somebody with the last name of Goldfein saying, well, you support Event H and the mustache guy. I guess that's kind of like that, right? Williams Isam, the deputy mayor, countered that the city would remain compassionate. We are trying to say that if less people were coming through the front door, maybe we could catch up a little bit, she said, which I mean is normal and logical. You know what's crazy? Man, I want you guys to pay very close attention. Pay very close attention to how these people go hard in the paint. Man, if you simply say, yo, guess what? I don't have it right now. Come back next week when I got it. I ain't got it right now. I can't help y'all right now. But if I get some things going on, then maybe I can help, right? Man, they don't take that for an answer. You help us right now, or if you don't help us right now, you're abusing us. But now notice how when we say that, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Nobody telling these migrants to pull themselves up by the rowboat oars. Nobody's saying that. Has anybody said, pull yourself up by your raft? Has anybody said that? Now, the New York Times put out a opinion piece about your boy, Mayor Eric Adams, all right? Hip-hop mayor, the Biden of New York, son. You know what I'm saying? Mayor Eric Adams turns his back on immigrants and New York's legacy. All of this right here, 7:30, son. It's because of Mayor Eric Adams. Word of mother, B. You know what I'm saying? Word of mother, B. Kids out there sleeping on the streets, son. Since last year, tens of thousands of asylum seekers have arrived in New York City from the southern border and around the world, seeking a better life in a place that has welcomed generations of immigrants since its founding. What place is that? I know they're not talking about the United States. Where did the United States welcome any immigrants to? Because how do we have all of these slavery stories and Italians used to have it worse than black people if the United States was so welcoming to immigrants? Irish people were slaves too. Here in the United States, welcoming to immigrants? Shout out to my man Ricky Jones. What's good with it, bro? Think about that. Think about all of these false narratives that don't make any sense. And these are the things that these people need to be hammered on and smothered on so that they never mention the nonsense ever again. And then brought back up and reminded of how stupid they are every time they come in orbit. Okay? What many of those migrants have found instead is a tepid welcome amid a housing crisis that has left the city barely equipped to offer them more than a meal in hotels that used to house a booming homeless population. They are lucky if they get a bed. I guarantee you that they would have had a bed had they stayed in the country that they live in. I guarantee you that, or they would have had at least something to sleep on. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. They would have had something to sleep on had they stayed where they was at. Now, check this out. I can go outside my front door, right? And I could wander as far as I can. It's not guaranteed that I'm going to have anything to sleep on. But if I stay my ass here inside of my house, I know that I have a bed. I know that I have a couch. I know that my floor is clean, right? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody watching. We got 59 people watching and we got 47 likes. If everybody could smash that like button and get us over 70, that would be great. And also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you take a moment and hit that bell icon twice and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. What's good with it, bro? In recent days, the slapdash system the city has built to address the crisis has broken down completely, leaving migrants sleeping on Midtown streets. The city says there is no more room for them, but advocates say that it needs to try harder. Here's my question for you guys, and I need everybody in the comment section to help me with this. What could they possibly do? What more could they possibly do? They're already doing every damn thing. What more could they do? What is the expectation here? What's the expectation here? What are we supposed to be doing? How far out this window are we supposed to jump? And on Sunday, the Times reported that look at this. On Sunday, the Times, of course, as the New York Times, reported that a shady contractor tapped by New York's mayor, Eric Adams, to send asylum seekers upstate and provide them with services, harassed them instead. So again, they're trying to pin this on Eric Adams. I want you guys to pay attention to what media outlets it is that are trying to slam Eric Adams. I want you guys to pay close attention to that. The city's taxpayers, look at this. Shout out to Kid Gravity. I don't know if Kid Gravity's still in here. The city's taxpayers are footing the bill for this abuse to the tune of $432 million. This immigration crisis, shout out to Maya. What's good with it, Maya? This immigration crisis in New York City, this migrant crisis, is costing taxpayers $432 million. Let me ask you guys a question. You guys think that New Yorkers are happy about that? If you guys think that the New Yorkers are happy about that, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, then give me a thumbs down. The curiously large no-bid contract with DocGo, a medical services company, should have never been signed and needs to be terminated. All right, so I don't know what's going on with that. It's true, as Mr. Adams has repeatedly said that this crisis is a national issue which requires action from the White House and Congress. Cities like New York, which has more than 100,000 people living in shelters, cannot be expected to welcome asylum seekers on their own. More than 90,000 migrants have arrived in New York City over the past year, many as part of a political stunt by Texas, Florida, and Arizona. Now, here's my question. Is this a political stunt? Let's break this down real quick. We know that it is a political stunt, but let's think about it in its entirety. New York and Chicago and all of those different places literally said that that's what they wanted and that they would house all those immigrants. Those mayors or those governors and mayors and all those people in those red states that sent the migrants up there, they said, you guys want to be sanctuary cities? Here goes some people to give sanctuary to. That's what they did. Now, is it political? Of course it's political, but it's not outside the realms of being unfair. So since they boasted and wanted to be these cities that were known for having these huge hearts and caring for all these migrants, okay, now you got them. Handle your business. But they're not handling business. What's happening is that the business is handling them. Though immigrants strengthen the U.S. economy and are a vital part of a vital fabric of the democracy. Now, and here's my question. How is it that immigrants strengthen the U.S. economy? And how are they a vital part of the fabric of the democracy? How is that? Anybody got any ideas on how either of those things is true? Because I don't know. I don't know how either of those things is true. Local governments can't simply absorb tens of thousands of people without help, especially for housing, and their taxpayers in New York and elsewhere shouldn't be expected to foot the bill. If they don't have anybody to pay the bill, then nobody should be doing this. Simple. If there's not money for this to be funded, then this shouldn't be going on. It's about as simple as that. Wouldn't you guys say? Would you guys agree with that? You can't pay, you can't stay. If we can't pay, then you can't stay. I mean, that's how it is anywhere. If you live in an apartment or if you live in a home and you don't pay your rent or you don't pay your mortgage, if you can't pay, then you can't stay. So I don't understand why that same rule and that same logic is not applied to these people. I mean, welcome to America. That's what us as Americans got to deal with. If my rent ain't paid on the first, I'm gonna have a letter outside the damn door. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to KO Kid Fit. The Undocumented Bros back. They back at it again. They back at it again. They don't stop. And now they got free transportation. So now here it says, still, there is something particularly disappointing about New York City officials' response to the asylum seekers unfolding under the gaze of the Statue of Liberty in the harbor. Here's my question. What is disappointing about New York City's response to the asylum seekers, other than the fact that asylum seekers have been prioritized over Americans? The only thing that disappoints me about this is that these people here who have not contributed to the tax revenue of the United States or to the GDP of the United States are getting prioritization over New Yorkers who are homeless already, mainly Black New Yorkers who are homeless already, who've fought in wars, who've paid years of taxes, who've been a part of the economy, who were born here, regardless if they didn't do any of that other stuff. United States is supposed to offer rights and privileges to citizens who were born here. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Nearly 4 in 10 city residents were born outside of the United States. waves of immigrants, Dutch, Irish, Italian, Jays, Chinese, Latino, and African Caribbean immigrants, along with many others, helped build this city. What did they build? Oh, here we go. So did millions of Black Americans who chased dreams in the city after fleeing the tyranny of Jim Crow South. Shout out to Jay. What's good with it, bro? Yeah. They're trying to give credit to all of these immigrant groups. Only one group of people who they're attributing to building New York City is non-immigrant, and that's Black Americans. We're not immigrants. So I don't even know why they're mentioning us in these accomplishments of immigrants, because we're not part of that group. We're not part of the immigrant group. Now, again, shout out to, everybody in the chat. We know what time it is, right? But when outside entities attempt to insert themselves into the things that we talk about and the things that we discuss, they try to sow seeds of division, right? So I want to make sure that everybody understands that this is not any kind of diaspora war content. This is not any kind of hit piece on non-FBA people or anything like that. Y'all know that I ain't with that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, no, this is an issue that affects FBA people, and everything that I'm saying, I believe, has been a fair critique. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, AB, how they put FBA last. But honestly, if they're talking about all these immigrants, we shouldn't even be on that list. What that is them trying to lump us into people of color. Right, exactly. Black Bitcoin Key. So wait, the millions of FBA who outnumber the immigrants is put last in the article. Facts. Facts. Now, here's my question. Why do you guys think that they did that? Why'd they do that? Shout out to Eddie Lee. Eddie Lee says in New York, the immigrants living at the hotel are throwing away catered food and kids are being left alone using alcohol and drugs. Isn't there an increasing problem with prostitution going on as well? The rich legacy doesn't seem to be on Mr. Adams' mind. Since the moment migrants began showing up last spring, he has made clear he wants little to do with the practical or humanitarian issues their arrival has raised. Really? Now, again, I don't agree with Eric Adams' decisions, right? I believe that Mayor Eric Adams practices benign neglect against FBA. But this right here, for them to say that he's not interested in the migrants and wants little to do with practical or humanitarian issues that their arrival has raised, it's amazing that they can put lies like this in the paper. Chiem says it's the some burritos. They want to hide our history. Facts. And then about 10 to 50 years from now, they'll be saying that they did it. Just give it. If people don't start protecting, listen, man, if people don't start protecting the history and stop letting people into the barbecue, in 50 years, the Amistad story is going to be tied into World War II somehow. Rosewood is going to be tied into World War II. Shout out to Patricia Slade. What's good with it? Yeah, Mitch McConnell actually said that black people weren't Americans. Were you guys aware of that? If you guys were aware of that, give me a thumbs up. Did you guys know that? I want to let you guys know what these people say. Look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna put this link to this article here in the chat. So if you guys want to look at it, you can see it. They say stuff like this all the time. Then they turn around and lie about it because they're cowards. Look at this. Mitch McConnell said that black people, look at his face in that picture, looking like a blowfish. Mitch McConnell said black people show up to vote just as much as Americans. What's that mean? Shout out to Carlton Way. What's that mean, Mitch? What's that mean? And this is a lawmaker. Shout out to Maximo. What's good with it, bro? It looked like he had an accident in his pants right here. Or he looked like he saw like that all those people that was at that riverboat fight are about to run up on stage. He looked like he might have a little bit of brown running down his leg. That's what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? He might have a little bit of brown liquid running down his leg. But yeah, though, that's what he said. Believe it or not. Not surprised. These kind of people make these kind of comments all the time, and then they try to give you a hard time when you bring it to them. You said, "Oh, what's wrong? You're sensitive." The fact that you said it, that's what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? You don't have any business saying stuff like that. Now, remember, he's part of the I don't see color tribe. And I gotta agree. Mitch needs that chair therapy. Facts. Hey, shout out to the them riverboat warriors. You know what I'm saying? They using air chairs to put folks in wheelchairs. You know what I'm saying? And I did not mean to hit that. So I apologize. Don't ever use that as an excuse if you get caught. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean to hit that. John Guillory says, that's wild. If we are not Americans, then what are we then? Yeah. And if we're not Americans, we definitely don't need to be paying tax. You know what I'm saying? We definitely don't need to be paying tax. But that's what Mitch McConnell said. And he's not the only one that said something like that. If you guys listen on the Crimecast channel, I always talk about how Tommy Tuberville said that black people commit all the crime in the United States. But, you know, we're not supposed to pay attention to that. That's the same guy that said that he supports white nationalists, right? So we need to start calling a lot of these politicians what they are. If you ask me, I believe that it's a fair assessment to start calling Ron DeSantis and to start calling people like Tommy Tuberville, Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're going to call them race realists. They're no different than Stephen Molyneux. And since that's the label that they want to wear, that's the one that we should embroider onto their foreheads. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says the mayor has provided basic services for the migrants, and rightly so. But at every turn, he has done so grudgingly. I don't know if you grudgingly sleep in the shelters with the migrants. I don't know if you can do that. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got another stream sponsor. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat. Show some love to my man AB Promotions. My man AB Promotion said, on a side note, if we were Jamie Foxx, I would have told some burritos to go call the Christian church anti-Semitic. Take it up with them. Fuck out of here. Facts. Look, check this out. I had planned on editing up some videos, right? That's what I had planned on doing. But AB Promotions kind of just brought this to the forefront. So I'm gonna ask you guys. I had a live stream planned. Let's show AB Promotions some more love. I hit the space button by accident. I had a live stream planned to talk about that. But then I was like, nah, I'm about to make some more videos. Y'all see, I've been on a video making binge. I like making videos. Believe it or not, I like making videos more than I like going live. You know what I'm saying? It's just that going live is faster and easier. You know what I'm saying? But I was thinking about doing a live stream about that. And if I do the live stream, I would do it before I shut everything down for today. So my question for you guys is, if you guys want me to do that live stream, then give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't want me to do that live stream and go ahead and do what I had planned, then give me a thumbs down. All right. So let me know. Your boy about to go get some. Your boy about to try to go get some shrimp and grits. Your boy about to try to do. Your boy about to try to get some shrimp and grits. And if they ain't got no shrimp and grits, about to get some fish and grits. Y'all about to mess my day up. Look at all them thumbs up. Y'all about to mess my damn breakfast up. That's all right though. I got y'all. I got y'all. I got y'all. We'll do it. All right, we'll do it. How many of y'all saw TD Hip Hop Media's video about Jamie Foxx? If y'all saw TD Hip Hop Media's video about Jamie Foxx, throw a radiation emoji in the chat. TD did a real good video about the Jamie Foxx. Yeah, Starbucks and shrimp. Facts. Starbucks and shrimp. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know nothing about that. That's the breakfast of champions, like true life. That's like champagne and Fruity Pebbles, but my version. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Mr. Adams has complained loudly that the immigrants were a burden on the city's resources. His administration shut down a welcome center at the Port Authority bus terminal where volunteers had slept for months, helped collect asylum seekers to service. Okay, so I want you guys to pay attention to these figures. He said that the migrants would cost the city $4.3 billion over the next 2 fiscal years, a figure New York's nonpartisan budget watchdog said is probably $1.2 billion too high. He tried to undo a 1981 court decree that requires the city to provide shelter to anyone who needs it. So Eric Adams did try to get that court decree undone, and they wouldn't undo it. Facts, Hurricane IQ, shrimp and grits. Shrimp and grits. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. He erected giant tents, now dismantled, to house the migrants in remote areas of the city inaccessible to public transit, then made it exceedingly difficult for nonprofit groups to provide critical services to this vulnerable population, like legal assistance and even help navigating the city and its laws. Such services could help migrants acclimate to life in New York City and could ease complaints from neighbors of hotels the city is using to house many migrants. The Adams administration has been warehousing asylum seekers instead of putting the country's largest municipal government to work, helping them build lives in New York or wherever else they want to go. Really? That's what's been going on there? That's what's going on there? Using luxury boats to house people for free is giving people a hard time, really? That's the standards of what a hard time is now? And real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 64 live viewers and we got 57 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, get us over 60 likes, that would be great. I'm pretty sure that's not what's happening there. This summer, the Adams administration printed flyers to dissuade migrants from seeking new lives in New York, leaflets that sum up the mayor's overall approach and betray the promise and spirit of New York as a home for people from around the world. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but New York should be a home for people from around America, not from around the world. And again, I find it fascinating the light that they're trying to paint Mayor Eric Adams in, as if he's just this entire time been this anti-immigrant tyrant that has just been raining terror and stomping out any hopes of anything that immigrants want to do in New York City. That's not a very accurate representation. You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, Eddie Lee, because I was going to say the same thing. I had a video planned to talk about that because I was curious to see if any of those white people got arrested, because they said that they arrested some people and put out some search warrants, but they kept it concealed of who it is that they arrested, right? And who it is that they put the arrest warrants out for. I'm curious to see who it is that they got. You know what I'm saying? New York's leaders are supposed to be different. The city's voters didn't intend to elect a mayor who acted like Greg Abbott, the Texas governor who sent migrants to cities across the country, including New York. Mayor Eric Adams hasn't sent asylum seekers anywhere. I want you guys to pay very close attention to this. See, this is where Mayor Eric Adams rolled snake eyes. You turned your back on black people, and now everybody is jumping on you. I don't know what to say, homeboy. I'm shout out to Tori and Rain. I feel nothing. You finding out the hard way that the world is correct. Nor did they vote for someone like Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, the presidential candidate who used asylum seekers for political sport, flying them to resort island of Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts at taxpayer expense just to quote unquote own the libs. New York can do better. First, it seems clear that Governor Kathy Hochul of New York needs to step in and demonstrate the concern lacking from City Hall. Oh, so I guess what we need to do is we need to have Kathy Hochul step in and do Mayor Eric Adams' job, because like every other black male, he's not capable of doing his job. This is very interesting. When will these black politicians learn that this is the fate that you have coming to you when you decide to sign on and work with this evil empire? When will they get it? When will they understand? How many times have we seen this pattern play out? This isn't rocket science. You know what I'm saying? It may be in the best interest of both taxpayers and the asylum seekers for the governor to name an expert manager to oversee the crisis. They want to call in a damn consultant. They're saying that Mayor Eric Adams is so incompetent, we need to call in a consultant. Wow. It may be in the best interest of both taxpayers and the asylum seekers for the governor to name an expert manager to oversee this crisis, which is clearly too much for the mayor to handle, a kind of New York asylum czar. So now, okay, here's my question. Who would be the person that has dealing with something like this on their resume to do it effectively? Who's the person? We're going to come up with this as a solution. Okay, cool. Bet. We'll do this as a solution. Now, my question is, who's the person that's going to be handling this? Where's the person with the experience that has the resume to do this? Who is that person? Who should we get? Anybody got any thoughts off the top of their head? Who's an immigration expert that we can call in to save New York City right now? Who can we call to do it? It shouldn't be that hard, right? That wouldn't free Mr. Adams to simply throw up his hands and walk away from the obligations the city has to those tens of thousands of people, whether they turn out to be temporary guests or newly minted New Yorkers. The mayor could make a big difference quickly by welcoming established nonprofit groups, not no-bid profiteers, to provide critical services where migrants are being housed. Those services should include English language classes, as well as basic job certification courses to help asylum seekers find work. Despite Mr. Adams' cold approach, many nonprofits and private volunteers and some municipal workers have engaged in this humanitarian work. In one small example, Dr. Theodore G. Long, a senior vice president at the city's public hospital system, noticed many meals at the facilities used to house migrants weren't being eaten. So now, shout out, who was that? Somebody in the comment section had mentioned something about, I think it was Maxima. He said that the food was getting thrown out. So this substantiates what he was saying. He said, it says here the food's not getting eaten. Many meals at the facilities used to house migrants weren't being eaten. So how hungry are they? So he conducted a survey to find out why. The results, we swapped out roast beef and did Italian food instead, he told me. I figured let's ask the people what they want instead of guessing. That's the kind of welcome a city of immigrants provides. So they getting some good food. They getting roast beef, pastrami. You know what I'm saying? I don't get a damn hot pastrami sandwich every damn day. I'd like one. I want some fettuccine. Shit. The hell? They giving out plates of fettuccine Alfredo up there? They giving out some hot pastrami sandwiches? Shout out to Carla Locker. What's good with it? How many of y'all want a hot pastrami sandwich with some damn fettuccine Alfredo? They eating good up there. Shit, they eating good. The hell? They eating better than me? Shout out to Eddie. Yeah, they better call Esposito. He probably watching over there on Twitch. Everybody drop some radiation emoji in the chat for Eddie. It was Eddie that said that about the migrants. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 70 people watching. Shout out to all 70 people that are watching. Appreciate each and every one of you all. All right. If you guys have not smashed the like button, please take a moment. We only got 57 likes. If we can get the likes over 80, that would be great. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you take a moment, hit the bell icon twice, and please share the stream to your social media. All right. I want a hot pastrami sandwich now. I done lost my taste for the shrimp and grits, and I want to get a hot pastrami sandwich. That sounds so good with some waffle fries, with some either some nacho or some melted cheddar cheese. Man, that sounds good. Yeah. Maxima said they want fast food. Being in Midtown is perfect for them. That's all around them. That's why. That's where they was at when they jumped a black guy. Jumping citizens there. Now, listen, let me ask you guys a question. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. He said that does sound like, bro, that sounds great. That sounds great. You know what I'm saying? That sounds great. A hot pastrami sandwich. You could even throw some corned beef on there too. You know what I'm saying? Did anybody happen to see a congratulations from the NRA, or did anybody induct those black people who stood their ground on the dock? Did anybody give them any kind of honorary patriot award, or Ron DeSantis set up any kind of GoFundMe or Christian GoFundMe or American GoFundMe for their legal expenses if they may have one? Did the Colorblind Society do any of that? I just want to make sure that I didn't miss it. I don't want to be sitting up here talking crap. I want to be sitting up here talking crap if if they did it, and I'm speaking ill of these people. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Facts. Make sure y'all listen to Eddie. Y'all hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing but your 2 fingers. Let me shut up, man. You know, look at this, man. I did not mean to hit that, but y'all know what to do. If y'all are interested in dropping that 99 cents and becoming members, it helps. If not, don't worry about it. But I swear that is not what I meant to hit. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to hit this one. Bronze to God. Bruh, it's still too early here for all that. What? All that sandwich? Hot pastrami and shit? It's always time for some hot pastrami. You know what to do? Listen, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. If you ever think that it's too early to eat some food because that food is heavy, drink it, eat it with a little bit of alcohol. It'll go right down. Instead of eating a breakfast with some instead of eating like some eggs and bacon and all that with some coffee, go ahead and eat like a prime rib or some steak and drink it down with some, you know what I'm saying, with some rum and coke or something like that. About 6 o'clock in the morning, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? You'll be straight. I'm telling you, you'll be good. Your day will be good. So now this is an article from The Gothamist. All right. Judge puts onus on state to respond to New York City migrant crisis after right to shelter violation. New York City is getting hit with violations, ladies and gentlemen. You are in violation. Facts. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. It's never too early. Prime rib in a 40 ounce. Facts. Shout out to Christopher Perkins. All right, bro. Be safe out there. Judge puts onus on state to respond to New York City migrant crisis after right to shelter violation. Here's my question for you guys. What does that mean? This is important. And how many people knew that New York City was in a right to shelter violation? They're in trouble. They're in trouble on a right to shelter violation. Now, what is a right to shelter violation? What is this? We just talked about it. Okay. A New York State Supreme Court judge is ordering state officials to help address the city's increasingly difficult task of meeting its right to shelter obligation after scores of mostly adult male migrants spent several days this week sleeping outside a shelter intake center in Midtown. What do you guys think about that? So now this is coming from the judge of the court system, okay? A New York City Supreme Court judge is ordering state officials to help address the city's increasingly difficult task of meeting its right to shelter obligation. Now, how are they going to do that? And how many people knew about this? They're getting dictated to from the top down. They're getting dictated to from the top down. This is why it's so important to understand those laws. Would you guys agree? At an emergency hearing on Friday, requested by the Legal Aid Society, Judge Erica Edwards outlined a process in which the city would provide the state with a list of state and federal resources it requires to continue sheltering and caring for migrants. I want y'all to understand this. The New York Supreme Court ordered the state officials to continue housing migrants. Now, here's my question. How many people have heard about this? How many people have seen anything about this particular aspect of this situation being talked about in the mainstream media? That's my question. The order puts pressure on Governor Kathy Hochul, who has provided the city with financial support for migrants, but has yet to treat the year-long humanitarian crisis with the urgency that advocates argue that she should. The order also represents something of a vindication for Mayor Eric Adams, who has begged the state and federal leaders for more assistance in combating a crisis that has landed on the city's doorstep. So now here's the question. If this ruling vindicates Mayor Eric Adams, then why are they sitting there saying that Mayor Eric Adams isn't doing enough for these migrants? In the article that we just read, right? In that article that we just read, they were sitting there saying that Mayor Eric Adams isn't doing anything and that he's being xenophobic and that he just doesn't want to deal with it. And now in this one, when we hear about the court ruling is saying that Eric Adams is being vindicated. So you know what we got to do? We got to ask the question that we always got to ask. Well, which one is it? Which one is it? That's the question. As we've known since the early days of this crisis, this is not just a New York emergency, but a crisis that requires support from the state and federal governments, Adams said in a statement following the hearing. We need all of our partners to step up and treat this crisis like the emergency that it is, instead of abandoning New York City to provide shelter and care for more than 95,000 asylum seekers by ourselves. Now, here's my thing. That's kind of what New York City signed on for. Would you guys agree? Hey, I hear you, Eric Adams, but yo, bruh, this is what you signed on for, family. This is the bed that you made. Would you guys agree? This is the bed that Eric Adams made for himself. This is the bed that all these sanctuary cities made for themselves. The state must respond to the city's request by August 15th, one day before the next scheduled court date. So we're going to pay attention to this. There's supposed to be more court dates behind this. The state has not taken ownership of what is a statewide issue, Josh Goldfein, a staff attorney for legal aid, told reporters after the judge's decision. There are places around the state where they could be sheltered. There are labor shortages around the state. There are communities that would welcome people. Now, here's my question. Where are those communities and who are they? And what I want you guys to do is I want you to keep in the back of your head labor shortages. Bookmark that in your brain. Labor shortages. Okay? The bulk of the state's assistance has come in the form of roughly $1 billion in funding. Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to this. All of this money is money that could have been down payments on reparations and everything else, and they're spending it in every possible way except for putting it in any form into FBA hands or FBA economy. Okay? The bulk of the state's assistance has come in the form of roughly $1 billion in funding. That's significantly more than what the federal government has offered to combat a national problem. It's also far less than the $4 billion that Adams has said will be required to meet the crisis. Hochul has also helped the city secure state-controlled sites such as former psychiatric facility in Queens to use as shelters. And again, we're going to be keeping our eye on the psychiatric facility in Queens because from what I understand, it was going down out there. It was going down out there. You know what I'm saying? But Goldfein said more could be done and that Hochul could issue an executive order requiring local municipalities and counties to shelter some of the migrants. Now, here's my question. Everything that they're suggesting, this is my question for you guys and my question for them if they happen to listen to this. Everything that's being suggested to be done for the migrants, my question is, why hasn't those things been done for the homeless that are already there who are Americans? That's my question. All of these wonderful suggestions, all of these smart ideas, all of these things that we want to do, that we claim we can do, right? Why haven't those things been suggested for Americans? What are you guys' thoughts? Because if you ask me, that should have happened, right? Based on the lawsuits generated by Adams' attempts to send migrants to Orange and Rockland counties, that would almost certainly spark a political firestorm for Hochul, who came close to losing to Republican Representative Lee Zeldin in last year's gubernatorial election. Legal Aid has been fighting the city's request to roll back the right to shelter, a unique 40-year-old mandate that requires the city to provide a bed to anyone who requests one. So I asked this question earlier, but now there's more people in the chat. So I want to make sure that the more people have an opportunity to talk about this. How many people knew that this court order existed in New York City? Were you aware that in New York City, it is the law that the city must provide a bed to anyone who requests one? If you knew that, give me a thumbs up. If you did not know that, then give me a thumbs down. Okay. The state is a party in the proceedings. It was one of the defendants along with the city under the original 1981 legal case that won the right to shelter for homeless New Yorkers. Now, this is for homeless New Yorkers. Homeless New Yorkers are citizens. If you're a New Yorker, you're a citizen. You know what I'm saying? Friday's court proceeding was triggered after Legal Aid filed a request for an emergency meeting with city and state officials after migrants were seen sleeping outside the city's intake center at the Roosevelt Hotel for days. So now here's my question. Nobody wanted to file any of these things when they see homeless people sleeping outside? Shout out to John. John says, check this out. Roughly 70K are homeless in New York. 56% are black, and they are trying to house 95K illegal immigrants and doing nothing for the homeless that they already have. Facts. Facts. So now here's my question. Who is pushing back on this? Who's getting in these people's faces at city council meetings and stuff like that and saying, hey, we need to address these issues right here. We need to deal with this stuff right here. Who's doing that? And shout out to Carla for hitting that Stream Elements bot. Adam said earlier this week that the situation was not going to improve. From this moment on, it's downhill, he said. There is no more room. After a letter on Wednesday from Legal Aid to the court seeking emergency hearing, city officials found temporary shelter for the migrants who had been sleeping outside. City officials found temporary shelter for the migrants who had been sleeping outside the Roosevelt Hotel after Legal Aid sought the emergency hearing in a letter to the court on Wednesday. The governor's office ticked off a list of ways it aided the city, including funding, assigning over 1,700 National Guard members to assist the migrants, use of state sites for shelters, and pressure on federal officials, but declined to comment on record, citing the pending litigation. All right. So now this is very interesting, right? And again, this kind of shows more of how New York City kind of put itself in this situation. All right. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Marvin C. Make sure you guys show Marvin C some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for Marvin C. Marvin just became a member. That definitely helps. I encourage everybody to become a member. Membership is only 99 cents at the lowest price. You know what I'm saying? It definitely helps. Helps me to be able to put more content out there for you guys, better content out there, better quality stuff. You know what I'm saying? I really need to start doing some members only stuff and some Patreon stuff. I just haven't had a chance because I've been trying to put out so much content, but just saying, you know, just saying. So definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all show him some love. That definitely helps. So now, do you guys remember what I said to make sure you keep this in the back of your head? What was it that I said, hey, keep this in the back of your head? We'll be getting here momentarily. You guys remember? What was it? What we talk about? What was it that we talked about? And remember what we asked at the beginning? What we asked at the beginning was, where are the Ukrainian migrants going? Why are the Ukrainian migrants going to different places than the other migrants? Shout out to Big Hair. Shout out to Sugar Bum becoming a sponsor. That's what's good. Finance it. Look at all these people that just became sponsors. Appreciate y'all. Throw mad radiation and flames into the chat for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. What do y'all think about that? How many people knew about this? Ukrainians move to North Dakota for oil field jobs to help families facing war back home. Shout out to KO Kid Fit. KO Kid Fit. KO Kid Fit said, Mama KO Kid Fit said that the Ukrainian migrants been living good where she's at. I believe it. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker heard about this. Moving to North Dakota for oil field jobs. Value chain at work right here. Skin color value chain. As one, and when we talk about Jamie Foxx, we're going to talk about the value chains there. KO Kid Fit said they have businesses already and everything. I bet you they do. Shout out to Mimi McCoy. What's good with it, Mimi? I bet you they do. Now, here's my question, right? None of these immigrants, right, regardless if they're these people that are in New York City or if they're the people who are, you know, in all these other places, right? None of them can vote yet. Because we all know they're working on making it so that they can vote. But my question is, who set this up for them? Who has the interest in making sure that these people have all of this stuff? I'm not mad at that, KO Kid Fit. If you guys agree with KO Kid Fit, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. My man KO Kid Fit said we just need to go Alabama riverfront all over the United States. Facts. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Big facts. Biggest facts. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what they're talking about right here. Make some Bunchov remembers hearing rockets explode in Zaporizhzhia as the war in Ukraine began. It was terrible, he said. He and his wife sent their daughter west to live for safety and joined her later with their pets. God forbid, can't forget them pets. Now, about 18 months after the war broke out, Bunchukov is in North Dakota, like thousands of Ukrainians who came over a century ago. How many people knew about these large populations of Ukrainians that came to North Dakota a century ago? So now, if all these Ukrainians are in North Dakota, right, from a century ago, then that means that they probably already have set up businesses, like KO Kid Fit was saying. They already got value chains existing, so they can come right in and fit right into a job. They can come in and work right with some people already there looking to hook them up. Would you guys agree? So they've been just kind of laid back. They've been chilling back, not saying too much. We're going to sit back. We're going to chill real quick. And while we chilled back, we're going to build up these businesses. So now when more Ukrainians come over, we got you. Y'all ain't got to even deal with no Americans. Just come through, come right over here. We got you. We'll hook you up with work. Now, these people check off the boxes, right? They check off the boxes because these are some white immigrants. So they get to be white people and minorities. Well, AOC, wow. He is one of 16 new arrivals who are part of a trade group's pilot efforts through Uniting for Ukraine, humanitarian program to recruit refugees and migrants during a workforce shortage. 12 more Ukrainians are scheduled to arrive by August 15th. Look at this. Look at this. He is one of 16 new arrivals who are part of a trade group's pilot effort through the Uniting for Ukraine humanitarian program to recruit refugees and migrants during a workforce shortage. Now, they already got refugees and migrants all over the United States, but they're specifically getting these ones from Ukraine for this. 12 more Ukrainians are scheduled to arrive by August 15th as part of the North Dakota Petroleum Council's Back-in Global Program. All over the place with a bunch of migrants that are looking for places to work. We just read about it, right? But now they're specifically getting Ukrainian migrants for this. Shout out to Lucy. What's good with it, Lucy? They're specifically getting Ukrainian migrants for this. Carl just said the Ukrainian corner store is about to be lit. You know what I'm saying? The Ukrainian stores about to have all the off-brand vodka. You know what I'm saying? They about to have all that headache shit. New Amsterdam, Orloff, and Tito's. They about to have all the bottom shelf vodka. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's my question. You're not hearing about this on the mainstream media. Who is this organization? Shout out to JB Easy. What's good with it, bro? Who is this organization that's recruiting these Ukrainian migrants to work in the oil fields? And my question is, why isn't this agency recruiting migrants in the cities that have the greatest concentration of migrants? Why is that not happening? I think that at least somebody should ask that question, right? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 69 live viewers and we got 69 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, hit the bell, share the stream to your social media, that'd be great. Also, make sure you follow my backup channels. Why are Ukrainian migrants being picked for this specific thing here? That's my question for you guys. Some workers want to bring their families to North Dakota while others hope to return to Ukraine. I will try to invite my wife, invite my daughter, invite my cat, and invite my dog. Bunchakov told the Associated Press a week after his arrival. Now check this out. The back-end program has humanitarian and workforce missions, said project manager Brent Sanford, a former lieutenant governor who watched the back-end oil rush unfold during his time as mayor of Boomtown, Watford City from 2010 through 2016. Okay. Now, I want to know why Ukrainians specifically are being recruited for this. I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on that. Shout out to MC Fact. What's good with it, bro? That's what I want to know, guys. I want you guys to tell me your thoughts on why it is that you feel Ukrainian immigrants are being chosen for this program. I'll tell you one of the first reasons why is because, for one, I guarantee you that it's a white person that owns this value chain. All right, so there's that, right? Initial reason. Now, aside from that, what else? Value chains always help ethnicity first, family second, friends third. So that's my question. So now here it says the oil boom initially was met by an organic workforce of Western North Dakotans with experience in oil field jobs elsewhere. But as the economy reeled from the Great Depression, thousands of people flocked to the back-end oil fields from other states, even other countries to fill high-wage jobs, Sanford said. So these jobs are going to be paying pretty good. Shout out to B1 First. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to Tabith. What's good with it? These jobs are going to be paying pretty good. Technological advances for combining horizontal drilling and fracking, injecting high-pressure mixtures of water, sand, and chemicals into rocks made capturing the oil locked deep underground possible. People came by planes, trains, and automobiles every way possible from everywhere for the opportunity to work, Council President Ron Ness said. They were upside down on their mortgage, their life, or whatever, and they could reset in North Dakota. But the 2015 downturn, C-19 pandemic, and other recent shocks probably led workers back to their home states, especially if moving meant returning to warmer and bigger cities, Sanford said. Workforce issues have become very acute in the last 10 months. Ness estimated that, look at this, there are roughly 2,500 jobs available in an oil field producing about 1.1 million barrels a day. Employers don't advertise for every individual job opening, but post once or twice for many open positions, he said. Now, here's my question. Why do you think that is? Why do you guys think that is? An immigration law firm told Ness that uniting for Ukraine would fit well for North Dakota, given its Ukrainian heritage, similar climate, and agrarian people, he said. Now, these are dog whistles. Has any provisions ever been made for us with stuff like that? Shout out to MC Fact. I warned people about Ice Cube, man. I warned people about Ice Cube. Our not so good brother Cube. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody saw my community post, but I posted in the community post. It seems like his tour is the ignore. It seems like it's the benign neglect tour, doesn't it? The benign neglect tour. I'll tell you what. Next time somebody accuses Ice Cube of something, I'm gonna benign neglect his issues and talk about something else. AV Promotion said we put AV Promotion said we putting you on probation. Yeah. Ice Cube getting put on probation. You know what I'm saying? Then he gonna sit up there and say that race doesn't matter. He lucky that I touched on this recently because I was actually going to flame Ice Cube up a couple weeks back. Y'all could ask TD Hip Hop Media, but I didn't want to do it right quite then because I wanted to see some things before anything went on. This was before the Tucker Carlson interview. All right. So everybody that's doing this response shit to the Tucker Carlson interview, that's what they doing. I had been said I was going to go in on this clown. I had the thumbnail made and everything from when he went on the Bill Maher show. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm gonna just hold on real quick because I want to give him adequate amount of time to finish his tour. Let's just see if he got some surprises in store. And shout out to MC Fact. MC Fact says, well, I was suspicious of Cube when he mentioned red natives getting reparation in his contract with Black America. There you go. And see, so when Ice Cube was sitting there talking about Robb about to drop his version of No Vaseline on Ice Cube, man, we're gonna melt Ice Cube. We're gonna make him crushed ice, pour some Ciroc over it. Let me tell you, man, listen, I don't even want to. Let me stop. I'm gonna just stop. All I gotta say is this is just more proof. This is just more proof. When he's sitting there talking about, oh, you know, I got blackballed. Oh, you know, I can't get this and I can't get that. He's talking about who he's trying to get it from. Okay, you can't do any business with the dominant society anymore because they ain't trying to mess with you. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You got other outlets that you could do business with, but you choose not to do business with those outlets. That's on you, bruh. That's on you. I'm gonna go talk to Jake Paul. Did y'all know he did this interview? I forget on the Full Circle podcast or something like that. Then he went on Jake and Logan Paul's show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. See, MC Fact know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's time for you to put that Cube analysis video in the near future. Facts. I'm not surprised, man. Listen, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with Ice Cube. And honestly, right? Shout out to Black Bitcoin Key. Black Bitcoin Key said, like Jason Black said, you want to know what black people really think, put them in front of a white person. Yeah, I agree that that is a litmus test. You know what I'm saying? I guess, depending on the type of person. But me personally, I don't believe that white people have a magical ability to just draw shit out of black people. But what I do believe is that if you listen to what somebody says, they'll tell you everything that they're saying. And what it is that Ice Cube has been saying the whole time is that we are a side project. And again, like I said, I'm not the person that's sitting up here saying that everybody got to be a fist pumper. I'm not the person that's sitting up here saying you got to be pro bliggity bliggity black. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to be Umar Johnson. What Kevin Samuel say? Prince of Pan-Africanism. Big Pop in the house. Nah, I'm not saying that you got to do that. You know what I'm saying? People want to sit around and talk about pyramid babble all day. That they can do that. But I'm not saying that you got to do that. But what I'm saying is that if you're somebody like Ice Cube and you come with that kind of energy, then follow it all the way through. When Ice Cube didn't follow any of that stuff all the way through, I knew automatically that he was full of nonsense. He was full of crap. And he was upset that he's been blackballed and not able to get his 3-on-3 basketball league into a mainstream media. So all of the large podcasts that he's been going on, I'm sure he had talks with them promoting him or allowing the games to be played in segments on their airtime. Nobody's stupid. Ice Cube was one of the first people that walked away from Ruthless Records. Ice Cube been a businessman. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is that one of the reasons why Ice Cube was allowed to do the nonsense that he does for so long is because Ice Cube, like I said, Ice Cube is one of the darlings. You know, we had this darlingism shit where certain people get a pass. It's off code to criticize certain people. Don't say nothing about Ice Cube, the good brother Ice Cube with the contract. I don't give a fuck about that contract for Black America. Because you didn't do shit with it. That contract for Black America is the same thing as flashing a gun and not bucking it. Coming from NWA, somebody from NWA should know the dangers of flashing a gun and not bucking it. Because that's what you sat there and rapped about the entire time. Then decided to make a movie about weed culture, smoking your stupid ass brains out. Because that's the move. Right? But he's a darling. He's revered. Everybody loves him. So if you say anything negative about him, you run the risk of getting canceled. And not by the people that usually cancel people. People got to stop with that mess. Yeah, we're not to criticize Ice Cube, Jay-Z, and Obama. Facts. I'm a critic. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I will criticize whoever I feel needs to be criticized at the moment. And Ice Cube, to me, for a long time, was blowing smoke. Now, it'll be people that go jump off of a window, they go jump in front of a train to try to save Ice Cube before they jump off a train and try to save themselves. Don't talk about him like that. Now I'm talking about him. You ain't gonna do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? And all these people, how many videos did TD Hip Hop Media do about Ice Cube? Defending him every time somebody tried to call him anti-Semitic. When all of those news agencies tried to say that he was a right-wing operative. Shout out to my man Terrence. What's good with it, bro? How many videos did Phil Scott do defending him? None of those podcasts that Ice Cube went on defended him. What about retweeting? You know what I'm saying? I mean, damn, at the least when LA Times was making videos about you, Ice Cube, the least you could have done was retweeted the video TD Hip Hop Media made about you. That's the least you could have done. That's common courtesy. You couldn't even be bothered to do that. What about the video Phil Scott made about you? Couldn't be bothered to do that. Our brother Ice Cube, our brother Ice Cube, our brother Ice Cube. Yeah. Yeah, our brother like Cain and Abel. So now here it says the program sponsors, including company owners, managers, and employees, agreed to help Ukrainians find work, healthcare, schools for their children, and safe and affordable housing. So these Ukrainian migrants have a program that's attached to this oil field that's willing to help work with them and financially integrate them into society in North Dakota. See, if you ask me, people need to learn how to vet better and stop emotionally attaching to people. Everybody always say we're advancing. We're not falling for symbolism. Man, people fell for the contract for Black America. That was symbolism. Where's the contract for Black America now? I don't know if anybody ever heard of the circular file, but I guarantee you it's at the bottom of the circular file. He had all those people work on it too. Dr. Claude Anderson. And now Ice Cube wants to be known. He wants to be known as the good Negro that told Black people to stop voting for Democrats. He ain't the first, and he won't be the last. The same way how he went out bad, he won't be the first one to do that and won't be the last one to do that neither. And that's why people should start paying attention. He could have, Kelly, but he made a choice. He made a choice. I knew that he wasn't going to meet with us. Anybody. But a lot of people didn't. A lot of people had faith. Shout out to Ice Cube. He gave everybody a lethal injection of bullshit. So now here it says about 160 Ukrainians have arrived in North Dakota, the majority in Bismarck, as part of Uniting for Ukraine, according to State Refugee Coordinator Holly Triska-Daly. Now, here's my question. Who is in charge of this United Uniting for Ukraine program. Yeah. Facts. Shout out to Torian. What's good with it, bro? A lot of people defended when he got railroaded by those hens a couple years ago. Facts. We all did. We all did. Ice Cube would be the first one to get in front of somebody talk about pay it forward, and he don't know how to pay it forward. You mean to tell me, bro, you don't know who people are on YouTube, man? Going somewhere with that mess. A lot of people watch these channels. Torian got 60-some thousand subscribers. TD got, you know what I'm saying, 70-some thousand subscribers. Jason Black got, with his 2 channels combined, like over 200,000. Well, with his 3 channels combined, over 300,000 subscribers. Tariq got 220,000 subscribers. Don't sit up there and tell me that people don't know who these people are. We ain't talking about my little ass channel. AB, shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, I thought he would talk to the new black media. Man, I knew he wouldn't. I knew he wouldn't. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Now, everybody said, right, that it's the magical white powers to draw truth out of a black person simply by having white skin. You put a black person in front of a white person, and all of a sudden, I guess because of white supremacy, somehow you just start singing like a bird, right? Now, when Ice Cube first made the tweet, in that video, he said he's going on a tour, an anti-establishment tour, because he feels that he's been blackballed. Right? An anti-establishment tour. He didn't say, I'm going to reach out to some black content creators. I'm going to reach out to some black media. He didn't say none of that. And then what else he said was that he feels that his basketball league could be competitive with the NBA, or it could be integrated with the NBA, and he just doesn't know why the NBA won't work with him. You guys remember that? He said all of this not in front of white people. He said this in front of his stupid ass camera. You guys remember when he said that? I'm being blackballed. It's certain people in the industry that don't want to work with me. Certain people in the industry that don't want to work with you. What industry? So if he's talking about some certain kind of industry, none of us are in that industry. So he's clearly not talking about reaching out to us. But again, like I said, if people listen to what these motherfuckers say, then you will know exactly what they mean by what they say. You sitting up there talking about you going on some anti-establishment shit, man, you talking about going on Tucker Carlson, you talking about going on Jimmy Dory, you talking about going on Mark Dice, you talking about going on what's the name of that? What's the other Joe Rogan. Those people consider themselves, quote unquote, anti-establishment. And when they say anti-establishment, that translates into anti-business utilized and owned by some burritos. But at the same time, you want to get your basketball company integrated into San Burrito basketball, NBA. So we got this person over here on Twitch that says his name is Streamer. Streamer says he just made a decision as an entrepreneur. What decision was that, Streamer? Which decision did he make as an entrepreneur? Because I don't know if you're aware, but entrepreneurship means to start a business. So out of the decisions that he made, what decision created a new business for him? And what is an African American? Ice Cube's not an immigrant. He didn't immigrate from Senegal. He didn't immigrate from Nigeria. He didn't immigrate from South Africa. And what is politically correct? And what you don't get doesn't matter. People fail math class every day, and they fail it because they're not capable of understanding. We don't owe you anything if you're not capable of understanding, except for a big fat F. So go ahead, put up the answer. He made a decision as an entrepreneur. Let's start there. Did he start with a sole proprietorship or did he start with a partnership? What entrepreneurial decision did he make? Let's start there. Didn't think so. So now here it says applications from prospective sponsors around the state have gone up considerably in recent months, likely due to more awareness, but also Ukrainians who are working and beginning to thrive and filing to support their families. The 24 or so Ukrainians might not seem like many arrivals on national or statewide scales, but they will make significant differences for cities like Minot and Dickinson. So this is interesting when it comes to the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are going to make a positive difference in their city. And I got to agree with B1 first. Ice Cube's dumbass doesn't know he's rich without them. But at the end of the day, Cube been okie dokes, just like a 60-40 contract. I agree. If you guys agree with B1 first, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree 100%. The cities haven't traditionally been major resettlement hubs, but now there's a strong likelihood the workers' families will join them, adding to the economy and the schools, Triska Daly said. So now I want you guys to pay attention to this. And I want to ask you guys the question. We're talking about immigrants here. We talked about immigrants in the last articles that we read. Why is it that this article's tone is so different when talking about these Ukrainian immigrants than it is when talking about the other ones? Make it make sense. Shout out to Anton, Dwayne, and Michael. What's good with y'all? Why are they making so light of the Ukrainian immigrants? Right? The Ukrainian immigrants are going to be a positive. They're going to be a plus. We want to integrate them in society. These people are so great. They're hard workers. Can't wait to get their families here. That's interesting. That's interesting. Carlton says because they're European. If you guys agree with Carlton, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Carlton, give me a thumbs down. Now, what I find interesting, right, is that this is blatant favoritism, not only in media coverage, but in the situation that these people are being placed in. There's no unorganized crisis or just insanity going on with Ukrainians. They're coming in, everything is clean. They're getting right off of a boat or a plane somewhere, going right into a job. Value chain at work. Off the boat, right to work. Right? Now, my question is, why isn't there any opposition to any of that in the mainstream media? Again, no one is even talking about any of this stuff. No one is even discussing any of this. And these are some serious issues. So my question is, why isn't anybody talking about it? And I agree wholeheartedly with John. And shout out to my man Tarek. Shout out to my man Tarek. What's good with it, bro? John says Ice Cube did a Kanye, getting mad because he wants to be in certain circles. I agree. In fact, shout out to my man Tarek. Tarek says we got 82 likes so far. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Let's try to get it over 100. Also, if you guys haven't subscribed, hit that bell icon twice. Wherever you watch it from, share the stream out wherever you watch it from. Now, here goes my thing, right? Shout out to Vega. What's good with it, Vega? I'm not opposed to anybody doing business in any circles at all. Any kind of business, right? But at the end of the day, you need to understand where your loyalties lie and always prioritize your loyalties. Just because you're doing business elsewhere does not mean that you become a complete idiot and become a complete shill. You need to understand how to maneuver strategically in a business environment. We live in a global society with a global environment. And one thing that irks me is when people say, well, we just need to only do the business by ourselves. The reason why white supremacy has so much money is because white supremacy controls all of the business and they do business globally with everybody. But they do it strategically in a way that keeps them in power. We got to stop using the handicap pass logic on shit. Well, if we can't do something, we're just not going to do it. That's not going to work. People like Umar Johnson, 12 people should only do business over here and eliminate ourselves from the rest of the global commerce. That doesn't even make any sense. How are you going to have any technological advancement? How are you going to have any trade? How are you going to have any commerce? It doesn't make sense. It's not practical. Show me where that is practical or working anywhere in the business world. It's not. You can go to some off the grid type shit. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere in Montana and build a little stick house with solar panels on the window. You know what I'm saying? And do eBay trades, which, okay, you're still using eBay. So people got to get past those outdated, old, nonsensical, non-technological considering talking points. That's new old nigga stuff. You know how they be talking about old niggas? We don't be talking about the new old niggas. Because every generation makes a new group of old people. I'm part of the new group of old people. Like I said, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Neely Fuller Jr., none of those people created all of their thought in any of their books and any of their scholarship and academia. No one created that stuff for it to sit there and collect dust. Shout out to my man MC Fact. You're right. I agree. I agree. But the reason why I use that word was to quote what has been said before. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to B1 First. B1 First says, overstand Biden and the administration behave as American history is obscure pertaining to slavery, but all the details of the 1934 war, those completely understand every detail. Facts. Facts. I agree. None of those theories and works and bodies of works and academia was created to sit there and collect dust. Until WS is destroyed, all of those things need to be expanded and expounded upon. If WS is changing every day, then how we deal with it needs to change every day. Not using an old instruction manual. Let me ask you guys a question. If you got a 2022, a 2023 Nissan Sentra, is the 1999 Nissan Sentra instruction manual going to help you start the car? Is it going to help you disarm the security system? Is it going to help you change a tire? No, it's not. And that's just what it is. That's just called the linear chronology of the life cycle. That's what it is. And people like to repeat what they're good at and bastardize what they don't understand. Like Nas said, people fear what they don't understand and hate what they can't conquer. I guess it's just the envy of man became a monster. That's real. People fear what they don't understand and they hate what they can't conquer. New technology is on the horizon. New forms of white supremacy that we have to deal with, like ShotSpotter and AI face recognition and bullet sound detection systems. Things change. And that's just reality. Shout out to Carlton Way. Carlton Way said, some may think that Black empowerment isn't sexy enough. And again, like I've always said, I don't even expect people to be a fist pumper. We still haven't gone down the rabbit hole of the pro-Black Talkin pipeline because that exists. I just expect people to have self-respect and not deny reality. That's literally my only expectations. That's it. A lot of the issues that we have are because people deny reality. And people have unrealistic expectations. A lot of times people are living in the short term instead of living in the long term. You know what I'm saying? Again, my critique of Ice Cube is not, well, Ice Cube needs to do this. Ice Cube needs to make a contract for Black America. I never said that. I never said that. I don't think any one of us ever said that, right? I'm going to show you who did say that. Hold on real quick. I'm going to show you who did say that. He just made a decision as an entrepreneur. What decision would that be? The contract for Black America? Because a contract is an entrepreneurial decision. Not every African American has to act politically correct every time. I don't get why that's wrong. You clearly didn't get anything that was said in the live stream. Now, Ice Cube did make a decision as an entrepreneur, and he made a decision to draft a contract for the United States to sign to allegedly do right by Black people. Now, we know you don't think that that's politically correct. But out of everything that he's done, that's the only entrepreneurial decision that he's made that we've been talking about. So if we feel necessary to critique his business decision that no one put a gun to his head and made him make, we reserve that right. Being that we're part of Black America and the contract is for Black America, then that means that we're shareholders and have vested interest in the terms. And that's how business works. Like I said, thought so. Do me a favor, Tarek, type that comment in again because I can't find it. Let's see, hold on real quick. Last comment on Ice Cube. Yeah, you're going to have to type it in again, bro. And that's what I'm talking about right there. So when these people come in and, you know, they want to say something, hey, you say whatever you want to. I'm all about freedom of speech. I'm all about freedom of speech. But just be ready to get your head bit off of your shoulders if you ain't coming correct. You know what I'm saying? And my guy, you didn't come correct. So now here it says Bunchikov, who had jobs in mechanics and furniture sales in Ukraine, works for road contractor Baranko Brothers Incorporated. He and other new arrivals have experience in Alaska's seafood industry. Others have worked on cruise ships or held different seasonal jobs. Because of those jobs, many workers already hold, look at this, because of those jobs, many workers already hold Social Security numbers and have studied English, Sanford said. So now, again, there's a pipeline as to why these particular individuals have these particular kinds of jobs. Would you guys agree? And I got to agree, John. Many people I come to realize do not have a concept of the big picture and the different angles of things. They think so linear. Facts. I agree. I've always said this. You have to think exponentially. You have to think logarithmically. You have to think multidimensionally. You can't just think in a linear fashion. AX plus B is not going to work. You know what I'm saying? Demetrio Hyman, who said his English skills steered him towards the Bacon program, recalled sheltering with relatives in his grandmother's cellars as the war began and bombs fell on his hometown of Chernihiv. In the first months of the war, he drove people west to safety and brought canned food, medicine, and even generators to Chernihiv amid supply shortages. He told the AP he expected to work in water transportation and hopes to earn enough money to help his family to help us rebuild our country. So this guy is trying to, he's working here in the United States, gonna plan on utilizing American dollars to send back to Ukraine, or either to take back to Ukraine to help build Ukraine up. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. The Bacon program aims to recruit 100 workers by the end of 2023 and 400 after 1 year. Those 400 may not all be Ukrainians. Some will drive, start in shops, or build roads, pads, and fences. Everything from up there to well site operations, Ness says. the workers will start in construction and other basic jobs starting at $20 an hour and can rise quickly. So what I want you guys to understand is that they already have a vocational career program lined up for these people. They already have career paths lined up for these people. They also can leave their jobs or the state while they're uniting for a Ukraine program, which grants humanitarian parole lasting 2 years with a goal of a longer path beyond. But that depends on the federal government, Sanford said. 4 translators help work with forms, training, and community acclimation, Sanford said. One employer has rented 8 apartments for workers. Look at this, while others are in extended stay hotels until they can find apartments. I want you guys look at what they're doing for these Ukrainians in North Dakota. This is a very shout out to my man Corey Green. What's good with it, bro? This is a very different look than what's going on in New York and Chicago. A very different look. Yeah, I gotta agree. If you guys agree with Lloyd Scott 9, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. And again, like I said, you're not really hearing about this in the mainstream media. They're not saying too much about it. And the question that you got to ask is why? Why the reduced discussion? Why not talk about this? Glenn Barranco, president of the contractor building paths to drilling rigs and providing environmental services in the oil field, plan to assign jobs to 5 initial workers based on their skill set. Now, here's my question. This particular company is offering this to this group of people. None of the other companies, larger companies in the United States, are doing that. My question is why? So Tarek wanted me to read this comment. Tarek says, I personally think Ice Cube had good intentions, but gave up or surrendered because of all the resistance he was getting since his contract with Black America. He just said, F this and F all of y'all. Well, if he gave up, he lost. I mean, that's what it is. If that's the case, then bro, you lost. You got beat. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, like I said, I would never really have been real impressed with what Ice Cube is talking about. You know what I'm saying? Ice Cube he talks a good game. He's one of those kind of people that people are susceptible to falling for. And everybody fell for him. You know what I'm saying? My question would be, why would he say F this and F all? What did we do? F all of us? Those of us who did what? Supported him? Defended him? You gonna go kamikaze on the people that helped you out and then go to the people that tried to hurt you? Ain't no good intentions in that, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Ain't no good intentions in that to me. You know what I'm saying? That's first of all, you lost. You know what I'm saying? If you surrender because you are not strategic enough to come up with a way to do what it is that you want to on your own, that's just on you. And then if you take that failure and lash out at everybody else or ignore everybody else because you have an issue, that's just on you too. I'm sorry, but Ice Cube don't get any grace from me on that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I never really said anything because I understand how people are. You say the wrong thing, you criticize the wrong person, everybody's in an uproar. And everybody's in an uproar because people aren't able to be honest with themselves. Like I said, everybody be talking about how they don't fall for symbolism and stuff like that, but everybody stay falling for symbolism. Now, here go my question. Why didn't Ice Cube bring any of the people that helped him write the contract for Black America onto any of those podcasts? Probably because he didn't mention the contract for Black America on any of those podcasts. Yeah, facts, Tarek. Don't give him any. Do not give him any. Now, here goes my thing, MC Fact. Like, I'm not the person that sit there and be like, this person is just defective. This person is damaged, right? Because like I said, like everybody has issues dealing with living in this system. You know what I'm saying? There's like all these people online, all these people on YouTube, all these alleged Black people experts. Ain't nobody no expert at being no Black person in the United States. The whole purpose of how the United States manufactured everything that we have to this day is to attempt to try to keep people confused. So there's people with different levels of confusion, right? But nobody is fully not confused. So, you know, some people might be at a higher level of evolution than other people. You know what I'm saying? My thing is this. I don't understand starting and stopping a project. I don't get it. I don't understand why utilize all of those resources to create the contract for Black America. You take it to all of these places, right? And then you don't go any further with it. And then you get on these large media outlets and you don't talk about it at all. I watched the whole interview with him and Bill Mayer. He didn't bring up the contract for Black America once. I didn't watch the whole interview with him and Tucker Carlson, so I'm not sure if he brought it up at all then. But my question is, how much faith does Ice Cube actually have in his contract for Black America? And the reason why I say that is because Ice Cube, his words, not mine, told Tucker Carlson that race is not important. Race is overemphasized, right? Now, nobody had any issues with race being overemphasized when white people were benefiting from anti-Black racism in more of a capacity than they are today. Nobody said that. Everybody was all about it. You know what I'm saying? Now we still trying to get justice from those times that we haven't gotten, and people got an issue because it makes people feel bad. Now, my thing is, after sitting in front of Tucker Carlson and saying that race doesn't matter, how lucky are you that Tucker Carlson didn't say, well, then why not make a contract for all of America instead of making one for just Black America? Surely you can't be serious when you say that race doesn't matter if you came up with a contract just for Black people. You know how lucky he is that Tucker Carlson didn't hammer him on that shit? Because that's exactly what I would have said. I'd have stuffed that question right down his throat if I was Tucker Carlson. Yeah, facts, Torian. Exactly. Facts. I'd have stuffed that question so far down his throat. And then I would have stayed on it to the end of the interview if I was Tucker Carlson. But he didn't. And who knows why he didn't? Because it was out there. It was easy. Tucker Carlson is an experienced interviewer. So I'm sure he picked up on that, which is probably the reason why he asked him. But I don't think he wanted to make the interview hostile, because I think that could have turned the interview hostile. So when he got the answer to that, everybody else can draw their own conclusion. Everybody knows what Tucker Carlson was doing. Anytime you're not black and you try to constantly pressure a black person who you know has been the victim of racial abuse and attacks in the United States to try to say something about race doesn't have anything to do with anything, that's a passive aggressive form of buck breaking. And Ice Cube, if you listen to his music, but Ice Cube is he was a fist pumper. He used to hang around with the Nation of Islam and all of that, talking that good Yaqub gossip. You know what I'm saying? Don't eat the ham, don't eat the bacon. Okay, bro. Show me how to be black. That's what you got right there. It's not about race. Just like the Tulsa race riot, I guess. No? Just like slavery and shit. Wasn't about race. Now, here go my question. Who put a gun to Ice Cube's head and made him answer like that? We're not good enough to make Ice Cube rich. I want y'all to understand that. These people don't deserve our money. We need to start coming up with new hashtags like say sorry, you'll be sorry. Jamie Foxx, I don't care if you just got off the deathbed. Say sorry, you'll be sorry. Tired of these people out here making people look weak. These celebrities are one of the reasons why people always want to try to come messing with us, and then we end up having to river dock them. I blame the celebrities for those people wanting to test that security guard. The celebrities are the ones that give everybody the impression that black people are weak and that we won't whoop your fucking ass. Celebrities are always bowing down. Beyonce bowed down when she used the word spaz. Same with Lizzo. Bowed down. Just like Ice Cube. Ice Cube made the song about bowing down, so he definitely knows about bowing down. Homeboy made the song called Bow Down, and he sure as hell did. LeBron James apologizing. I'm sorry. Say sorry, be sorry. You know how white people got go woke, go broke? We need to start letting these cats know. Say sorry, you're going to be sorry. They don't want our money, so they shouldn't have it anyway. Our money ain't good enough for Ice Cube. If Tariq Nasheed and Jason Black can do crowdfunding and get enough money in the crowdfunding to do the things that they want to do, like create documentaries and build museums and make more documentaries, why can't a celebrity like Ice Cube, who has a far larger reach than those people, do a crowdfunding to organize his basketball league because he don't want our money. That's why. Not only is it a sign of class how much money you have, but it's also a sign of class who you get your money from. He don't want the money from us. It's dirty money. These black celebrities look at our money like dirty money. These are clowns. They measure their metric of how successful and how good they are by how many white people buy their albums and how many white people go see them and how many white crossover celebrities do a song with them. They don't have no pride in themselves. Now, again, I'm not sitting up here saying you can't do a video or a mute or a song or some shit with a white person. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that when you gauge your own success based on how other people validate you, you have a mental issue. And you definitely don't need to be representing anybody. Say sorry, be sorry. That's how it should be from here on out. Say sorry, you're going to be sorry. I'm tired of these celebrities, athletes. Yeah, it is. Shout out to Torian. It is. It's a new form of Stockholm syndrome. If you guys agree with Torian, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree. It is. You see it in practice every day. And shout out to Val for hitting that Nightbot. Appreciate it. So now here it says the labor shortage led his company to hire a full-time recruiter, but there's still a need, said Baranko, whose great-grandfather came to the area from Ukraine. So now we understand everything. The owner of this oil field is Ukrainian. Value chain, value chain, value chain. Now, you see how long it took them to get down? It's just like somebody just doing a good deed for these people. And, you know, everybody should do good deeds like this for these people. Now, as we get to the bottom of the paragraph, we find out that the guy who owns this oil mine is Ukrainian. His grandfather came to the area from Ukraine. So now we're setting up a value system. What did I tell you about the value chains? The value chains first, family. Second, ethnicity. Third, friends. Fourth, applicant picks. Most of the time when most of the times when we are working at a company, we are applicant picks. So if you look on that hierarchy of the value chain, we're not part of the family. We're not part of the friends. We're not part of the ethnicity. We're applicant picks. Applicant picks are always the first to go. Applicant picks are the most expendable. If we have a ship and that ship is going down, applicant picks are going overboard first. Would you guys agree? That right there is one of the reasons why we need to start building our own value chains. Value chains are imperative to survival. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 56 people watching and we got 96 likes. If everybody could smash that like button and get us over 100 likes, that'd be great. So now here it says, at a recent lunch for several workers hosted by the Ukrainian Cultural Institute in Dickinson, The new arrivals crowded around a map to point out their hometowns. The cooks laid out dishes of rice rolls, beet bread, deviled eggs, and filled dumplings called pierogies. So they have a whole cultural welcoming and warming going on. They're having the cultural foods, and we're going to celebrate our culture. Value chain, guys. Value chainment. That's what's going on right here, is value chainment. The Institute preserves the area's Ukrainian heritage and has raised more than $10,000 for humanitarian aid since the war began in February of 2022. Institute Executive Director Kate Kessel said. So now let me ask you guys a question. There's nobody going around and saying that, well, this is race-based. Well, no, it's not race-based because you're talking about Ukrainians. Okay, well, when we talk about FBA, that's not race-based because we're talking about a lineage. Ukraine is a culture. It's an ethnicity. It's a kind of European. Black Torian said, Black Light Revelations, what kind of chain would you have called that what occurred in Alabama? Man, I don't even know what kind of chain I would call that. Shit, I would call that breaking the chains. AV Promotion said, new movie title, don't get the dog shit slapped out of you on your dinghy while listening to Try That in a Small Town on the dock in Alabama. Hey, starring Sean and Marlon Wayans. Starring Sean and Marlon Wayans in whiteface. You know what I'm saying? Now, this says mannequins wearing traditional garb displayed decorated eggs in a Ukrainian library fill the Institute space. A large banner bearing "Peace to Ukraine" stood over the people eating lunch at the tables. So what I want you guys look like, the American Ukrainian individual, the Ukrainian American individual who is a descendant of a Ukrainian immigrant who owns this oil field is creating a value chain to employ Ukrainian refugees. So what I want you guys to understand is that as people come to the United States and start building these exclusive value chains, it's going to lock more Black people out of work unless we start creating our own value chains to lock other people out of work. I've been telling people this, man. Paycheck slavery is not the way. Applicant slavery is not the way. You got to build your own jobs and you got to preserve them. Celebrities understand this, and all of those celebrities that talk all of this kind of nonsense don't do any of this. Now, shout out to my man Terrence. Terrence said they pulled off all the stops for the Ukrainians. Now, here's the question. Why? They pulled off all the stops for the Ukrainians because the people that own this business and the people that created that program are Ukrainian. Value chain. All businesses operate like this, but this is the unspoken part of business that's not taught. This is the part of business that you're supposed to learn as part of your family values. But because in the United States, it's become a family value and a culture to say, well, I'm going to get a job instead of I'm going to get a business. You never learn about this kind of stuff through experience. And in most cases, if your parents are working for a company, they're not even going to understand any of this because they think that it's normal to work for a company, and it's not. It's normal to do business amongst yourself and charge outsiders for your product. Listen, man, everybody always talks about back in the day, like all of those ancient civilizations. When the travelers, the nomads, all these different people roam through all of these old ancient areas, what did they do? They brought samples of their products and they traded. Things were known. Things were known for being in certain regions, which meant that the people bought and produced themselves and traded it with the people that came through traveling. It's always been like this. This is not a new phenomenon. A lot of people's last names, those white people, a lot of their last names are based on what they did as a profession. Miner, blacksmith, porter, fisher, workman. And it's like that across many different cultures. A career, a trade, a business, economy, a value chain. It's supposed to be something that starts with the family. Hunter, yeah. Taylor, facts. Boatman. If they can keep you out of the economy and never give you exposure, or you're never able to obtain exposure as to how it works, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to monopolize on how it works. The first apprenticeship type systems were father and son. Cook, yeah, exactly. Facts, Hurricane IQ. Fryer, you know what I'm saying? So, farmer, baker, facts. Exactly. You guys get the idea. So, the thing here is that these are slick ways of being able to ethnically be exclusive with who gets hired versus who doesn't. Tim said, damn, my family's name is Cotton. I mean, it might be because, you know, there was some cotton sales involved. You could have had a cotton farm. Sometimes people known by the product that they used to have, like rice. You know what I'm saying? The last name of Rice. You know what I mean? So now here it says Ivan Sakovisky, who works for Barranco, said he looks forward to opportunities for promotion, such as driving heavy equipment and gaining new experience, though he doesn't plan to live long-term in the U.S. Sakovisky said he would like to return for work after visiting loved ones in his home country. My heart and soul are in Ukraine. It's my friends, the Odessa native said. It's my family. So again, they're taking it back to friends and taking it back to family, which is what I'm saying. And because you got friends and because you got a family that set up a value chain at an oil field in North Dakota, you don't have to scramble and deal with the immigration chaos that other immigrants have to deal with and stuff that we got to deal with. Which, again, if you ask me, this is just more evidence and more proof of how value chains can help to change the course of things for us. Because if we had things like this in place, we would be able to employ ourselves. We will be able to preserve jobs for ourselves. We'll be able to create our own education institutions, send ourselves to school, preserve our own history, implement our culture into the culture of our jobs. A lot of the problem is that the way that the world has been, we've been locked out of the economic system for a very long time. And as a result of that, our ability to maintain or create our own economic system has atrophied, because in the United States, we had to be legally forced to work within the economic framework of white supremacy. If you ask me, now is the time to change that paradigm. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers. Make sure that you're subbed up to my backup channels and my other social media, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right? Peace.